What actually happens after the camera is turned off? The question immediately flooded social media shortly after Jungkook's live broadcast ended. Many felt there was something unfinished, a stifled emotion, as if Jungkook wanted to say more but chose to remain silent in front of thousands of watching eyes. And as it turned out, the hunches of the fans were not entirely wrong. Moments after the live, Jungkook finally revealed his emotional feelings to Taehyung. Not in public, not with big words, but in a quieter and more personal moment. The clues came from Jungkook's change of attitude at the end of the broadcast, his softened tone, a seemingly blank look, and a closing sentence that sounded different than usual. Many soldiers admitted to feeling the strangeness, as if Jungkook was holding something too heavy to share publicly. The confession was said to contain emotional exhaustion that he had been keeping close. Jungkook reportedly spoke candidly about the pressure, the fear of disappointing those closest to him, and the fragile feelings he rarely showed. Taehyung, who is known to always be sensitive to small changes, is said to be the first person to listen to everything without judging. This is where the emotions of fans begin to mix between horror and anxiety. Why does this recognition actually make fans worry? Because for many people, Jungkook always appears strong, cheerful, and full of energy. When such a figure finally admits that he can also falter, the reality feels slapping. ARMY began to wonder how heavy a burden he had been carrying all this time to have to wait for the moment after live to finally be honest with Taehyung. The emotional shock is further felt when Taehyung's response is implied through his more protective and calm attitude after the incident. There were no lengthy statements, no excessive clarifications, but it was precisely the silence that touched many. Their relationship is back in the spotlight, not because of rumors or hype, but because of the depth of empathy that feels real. Now, fans can only hope for one thing, that Jungkook doesn't feel alone in dealing with his emotions, and that he knows that honesty is not a weakness. Behind the gleam of the stage and the millions of cheers, this post-live moment was a reminder that even the biggest idols are still human, with hearts that can get tired and feelings that need to be understood. And perhaps, precisely because of this, the concern of fans turned into a silent prayer. The emotional conversation gave rise to a wave of unexpected reactions. On social media, pieces of speculation began circulating, not in the form of mere gossip, but genuine concern from fans who felt they had grown up with Jungkook. Many recalled small moments on the broadcast, smiles that appeared too late, pauses that were too long, and laughter that sounded forced. All those details now feel like clues that were previously missed. What makes this situation even more touching is the fact that Jungkook chose Taehyung as a place to lean. For the ARMY, this is not just an interaction between members, but a symbol of deep trust. Taehyung not only listens, but is believed to give Jungkook a safe space to be himself without the demands of an idol role. A relationship that is built not because of the camera's spotlight, but because of a genuine presence. Fans' anxiety also stems from a fear of one thing. Has Jungkook been harboring his feelings too often? In a world that demands perfection, the courage to admit to being tired feels like an alarm that goes off quietly, but continues to echo. Many soldiers wrote messages of support, hoping Jungkook would read them and realize that he doesn't always have to be strong alone. Although there is no official confirmation or a lucid statement, it is precisely the vagueness that makes this moment feel real. Not all emotions need to be explained, and not all wounds need to be healed. Sometimes, one confession to the right person is enough to save a heart that's about to collapse. Now, after the live has passed, there are still mixed feelings that are difficult to explain. There's sadness because the truth is finally out, there's anxiety because the burden is real, and there's hope that Jungkook will continue to be surrounded by people who truly understand him. For fans, this story is not just news, but a gentle reminder that behind the lights and cheers, there are hearts that need to be kept together. As time went on, the moment actually left a deeper emotional imprint than it seemed on the surface. Many fans began to realize that what happened after the live was not a momentary event, but rather the accumulation of a long, stressful journey. Jungkook, who has always been known to give energy to others, for once seemed to need a place to lower the burden he had been carrying for too long. Taehyung's silence afterwards continued to be discussed. There were no expletives, no lines trying to calm the public, but it was precisely that attitude that felt most honest. As if he wanted to protect something that was too valuable to be consumed by the crowd. For many soldiers, it's a reminder that not all forms of caring have to be shown in words. Fans' anxious feelings slowly turned into reflections. Many are starting to ask themselves if they have been focusing too much on Jungkook's perfect side and forgetting that he is also human. The flowing support feels different, softer, more understanding, and no longer demands a smile every time. There was a new realization that loving idols also meant giving them space for the fragile. This moment may not be recorded as a major event on the official agenda, but its impact is felt real. The emotional confession that was revealed after the live became a point of silence that connected Jungkook, Taehyung, and the fans in one common feeling. The feeling of wanting to protect, understand, and stay together, no matter what is being faced. And perhaps that's where the deepest meaning of all this lies. Not about what is said in detail, nor about speculation, but about the courage to be honest and the presence of someone who is willing to listen. In the midst of the glitter of the entertainment world, this simple moment is precisely proof that the strongest bonds are often born of silence, empathy, and mutual trust.